A very good day, my dear undergraduate students. We are all exam going, and one of the major agonies shall be the spotters in pathology. This class shall be pathology by analogy, an approach to the gross spotters. Common sense matters everywhere, particularly in spotters. We should not panic. Make a list that is mandatory. Organize yourself now, and the answer shall follow. Compare with the other organs and lesions the present spotter that you have got. The spotters can be divided organ-wise or tissue-wise or sometimes lesion-wise. For example, gangrene. It can occur in the foot, the toe, or an amputated diabetic limb. The similar structures can be having a carcinoma or a melanoma. See the specimen, compare it with the list that you have prepared from your institute, and write down your findings. The list from your institute matters most. This is pathology by analogy. Let us go back to our primary schools and identify the structures on the screen. The leg or the foot, a solid black object, lung by means of the fissure, a collapsible black tube, a collapsible brown tube, a rigid steel rod, a small pouch, a large wide-mouthed bag, then a grey-white solid structure, the heart, the slice of bread, fingers as is shown, and this is a bee's hive, pear, a fruit, and a cabbage that has been cut. Please try to superimpose these on the spotter that you have got for description or otherwise. I am not going to go into the description of the spotters. So this is a foot, there is a discoloration, so obviously it falls into this group. Or sometimes there can be an amputated specimen and this can be it. All of them have got something, a blackish discoloration, and they are from the foot or the leg. Whereas here, I am finding a grey-white proliferating growth and another growth which is more blackish in color. It can be elsewhere in the body also, that is kept for you as a spotter. But identify these features. Solid organs mean kidney, spleen, and liver. Kidney, all of us know, it is kidney-shaped or bean-shaped, cortex and medulla. And this is the external surface. Spleen also will be having a hilum, impression of the ribs. Color normally is purplish, but the only lesion that we have got is CVC of the spleen, sometimes infarct. Those I will be describing later. And the largest of the organs will be the liver. Golden brown or yellow in a case of fatty liver. Nodules in a case of cirrhosis, and sometimes cavity or abscess. It can be amoebic or pyogenic. I would like you people to compare it with the list in your institute. And there are some collapsing pipe-like structures, namely the intestine. If it is going to be black in color, it can be the volvulus or the gangrene. Or if it is going to be having ulcers, please compare it with the list in your institute. To me, this is tuberculous ulcer. It can be a proliferating growth. So there is a carcinoma, colon, or if it is in the descending colon, look for the rectum. In the intestine again, there can be polyps which are projecting. So small intestine, large intestine. How to distinguish, I'll be telling you when I describe. There are other linear structures. This I have kept pertinently. In one of the institutes, this is a spotter. And this is, I am able to see some holes They are the ostia of the blood vessels, and this is naturally the aorta. So the diagnosis you people know is atherosclerosis. Another linear structure ending in a bag, the stomach. So this is the esophagus, no ostia. There is a growth. There is a tumor in this. Heart. So it is too simple. I'm not going to describe. There are the chambers that you people can see, or sometimes about the size of a fist, but yellowish in color in a case of a fatty infiltration. Some institutes have got valvular lesions, particularly rheumatic, which we shall be describing later. There can also be an infarction. So I should understand all this diagnosis. That is why a list from our institute matters most. There are some structures which are cystic or bag-like. Urinary bladder is not very common, though some can be having the bladder cancer. That is why your institute list is very, very important. So coming back to it, open bag, punched out lesion, it can be peptic ulcer or it can be ulceroproliferative cancer. Sometimes the stomach itself is very rigid, called as linitis plastica or leather bottle stomach. A bag-like structure must be distinguished from a small pouch, which means gallbladder. Small pouch here, similar to that, and I got the stones. Remember, I am not describing, I am not measuring, nothing. Lung must be easy because I am seeing the oblique fissures. So look for the fissure, and secondly, there will be the blackish pigment or the anthracotic pigment. Also, there can be some areas of consolidation, which means pneumonia. Irregular large growth will mean carcinoma. There can be a cavity or space in a lung also. Again, go by means of the fissure. So this is a cavity. It can be tuberculosis or it can be abscess. Compare it with the list you have got in your institute. And multiple spaces which are extending up to the subpleural region, bronchiectasis. Very annular, very organized. Whereas here it is very irregular, spongy, thin-walled, and emphyseme. So cavities, I should be able to describe the thing. Nodule. I kept a pebble as an example. Here there are two nodules or three nodules which are adherent, and this is a lymph node. Pale area may be an infarct. We will go to the diagnosis later. Another structure, and it has got slit-like openings like the cut cabbage over here. One thing is, here I am finding a testis with a bag-like structure, and this is a hydrocele. Sometimes a very small testis can be an atrophy. And a larger lesion. So this is obvious there is an epididymis and an oval lesion that is replacing one organ. Whereas here it has been slit open, there is no space or hives within, it is appearing solid throughout and connected by means of an isthmus. So this is a thyroid obviously. And the yellow color is too obvious, a lipoma. These I would like you people to identify. Pear is a fruit, and here this has got exactly that outline. Solid organ. So this is a thyroid. And the same thyroid, you find it has got multiple polygonal structures with colloid. And this has to be considered to be a beehive or a colloid goiter. So this is our favorite friend, a linear organ that is open at one end, and these are vessels. I will be going to the description in a second class. So they are all finger-like organs. Is that clear? Open at one end, appendix. I don't think we have got any other finger-like organ. Or probably a stout penis can be kept, but has got a cauliflower-like growth, carcinoma penis. Sometimes I have got. So please do observe there is a skin, and below that there is a lesion which has got multiple pores, and this can be what is called a hemangioma. So it has got some lesion like the pores of a bread. If it is going to be black, it can be a melanoma. This should not be confused with the breast because I will be telling you. In this case, again a pear-shaped structure. So this is the pear-shaped uterus. That was the thyroid. So here it is easy. I've got a cavity, I've got a muscle, and there can be multiple fibroids. Or there can be irregular friable growth in the cervix or the endometrium. Compare it with the list you have got in your institute. Cystic spaces. So this is one, a large cyst, unilocular. Here it is multilocular. I should always see whether there is this structure called the fimbrial end of fallopian tube stretching over, which means it is ovary. So there will be a diagnosis for this. Multilocular can be mucinous, unilocular can be serous. And sometimes hair-like follicle sebaceous cyst means it can be a dermoid cyst. So these are cystic lesions. So compare these again. This is or this. Some institutes have got this. I find a very transparent multiple cyst over here, and this is our friend the echinococcus or the hydatid cyst. And the breast. Usually you find that a mastectomy specimen will be dome shaped. And on the top of it, I'll be finding the nipple and areola. There is no other diagnosis that has got nipple and areola except the breast. And obviously, there is one, there will be the carcinoma breast. For fibroadenoma and all, they won't remove the breast. Some structures can be long and very rigid. I kept the steel pipe as an analogy. So here is a long bone, there is a hole which means an ostium, no? It is an osteomyelitis, the cloaca. Some bones, no, they will be having multiple spaces. The soap bubble appearance, which can be a giant cell. Compare it with a list and specimen in your institute. There can be an infiltrating lesion lifting the periosteum on osteosarcoma or parallelly arranged lines in an Ewing sarcoma. So this is it. Please answer all the questions. So what are the leg lesions? What are the solid black lesions? Solid gray-white lesions? Flexible black lesions. For example, volvulus of the intestine. Or if it is going to be gray-brown, what can it be? Steel rod-like means it is bone. Lung, what are all the lesions? Heart, what are all the lesions? And if it is going to be black, it can be a case of torsion testis or ovary. Open bag, stomach, and a pouch, gallbladder. Porosity, that means it is a hemangioma. Finger-like, open at one end, appendix. Hive, the colloid goiter. Pear shape, it can be the Hashimoto's thyroiditis or the uterus having this shape. And cut cabbage appearance, slit-like spaces, fibroadenoma. So I would like you people to kindly make a list. I will go into each of these specimens with a short list to make the diagnosis in a later class. An analogy is like a thought with another thought's hat on. So I think of something else and then make a diagnosis. That is proof by analogy. Thank you.